Something completely different. We're aware it's almost lunchtime, but bear with us. This is one part of the mobile ecosystem that we certainly need to pay attention to. And even for those of you with a focus or a day-to-day focus on messaging, you will know that there's a whole world of possibility where payments and messaging come together, where we're plugging those two in together in conversational commerce. So this is certainly an important topic. Today we're going to focus on the fact that mobile payments, and specifically direct carrier billing, is a very complex ecosystem comprising of various stakeholders. Because of that complexity, it opens itself up to be defrauded, for payment systems or payment processes to be defrauded. And we're joined by a number of our members today. If you guys would kindly do a quick introduction of yourselves and your organizations. David.
It's a pleasure to be with you guys. I'm David, the CEO and founder of Evina. Evina is a cybersecurity company specialized in protecting the mobile payment operated by telcos. What does it mean? It means that when you pay with your telco, on your subscription invoice, your Spotify account, when you pay your Netflix account on your invoice, it is carrier billing, and we protect this part. Second realm of mobile payment are the wallets, mobile money, which serves very, very well the underbanked countries with more than $2,000 billion a year of transactions that are operated by the telcos. This is also a realm that Evina protects.
Léon?
It's nice to be here. I'm Léon, COO from Sam Media. Sam Media is a user of direct carrier billing. We sell mainly augmented reality, virtual reality applications for users. We target a lot of mobile users, so DCB is something we use a lot. And besides that, I'm in the regulatory board in the Netherlands, but we'll get back to that later. Laurent?
Sure, Laurent.
So, good evening, good morning, everyone. I'm Laurent Baquiast. I'm a founder and CEO of Wister. We have our service provider, so we sell content, different type of content, game, video, educational content, using DCB. And of course, we have been a victim of fraud, and then we have had to protect ourselves. So we are a customer of Evina. That then we are based in France, and then we are also part of the equivalent of what Sam Media was referring to, which is an organization to regulate that market and protect that market.
Thank you. So the reason the four of us specifically are on the stage today is the Mobile Ecosystem Forum obviously has its various pillars of the entire ecosystem that it focuses on, payments being one of those, direct carrier billing being a form of payment, obviously, and for the most part being used or monetized via DCB, direct carrier billing. So within the MEF community, we have our DCB content and advertising working groups and community, and I'm the program director for that community. So just a short introduction about myself. I come from a background of the place in the Venn diagram where the law and mobile payments coincide. I'm from there. So let's start, Laurent. Tell us a bit about the ecosystem itself. When we're talking about the complexity and all the various stakeholders involved in just the process of a consumer getting, Netflix on their phone bill or getting some sort of piece of content or game or whatever that's ultimately built by DCB, there's a lot of stakeholders involved. Talk us through the complexity and why that opens itself up to fraud.
Okay. The fraud we're discussing is you download an app, you're playing, and then without knowing what's happening, you find out you're subscribed to different services, paid services that will be invoiced on your carrier invoice. So the fraud victim is the end user that has subscribed without knowing to paid services. And then these paid services the money will get out of his pocket, goes to the carrier, and then goes to a payment aggregator, then goes to us, and we very often pay for the subscription. We will pay an affiliate, or we will buy traffic. So part of that money will go also to the one providing us the customer. So that's very complex. At beginning, of course, when this happens, the user will complain to the carrier, and carrier will complain to us, saying users subscribe without knowing. And then we are the first one being suspected, and then we have had to protect ourselves, and to protect ourselves, so showing that we are not the one organizing that fraud, but we are a victim of that fraud, and we are victim of that fraud first from affiliate. So we used to pay commission to affiliate. Each time we have a sale, we pay the affiliate that brought us the customer a share of a commission. And then the affiliate has an interest of faking subscription to get more commission. Then when we got rid of affiliate, when we regulate that and say we are buying traffic, so we are not paying per sales, we're just paying per impression. But then we have the same problem. People selling traffic, they sell the traffic more expensive if that traffic converts well. So we have fraud on traffic we pay, so that the one selling us the traffic will sell that traffic more expensive. So and more, we found that fraud was also coming on traffic we buy without any commission related to sales. And then even to the point that we may have, for example, we buy traffic on YouTube. So YouTube is not frauding us by selling fake traffic, but the content creator on YouTube may generate fake traffic to get more views and get more revenue from YouTube. So that may go very far, and then we have to know exactly where we're buying traffic, but that's not enough. We need to have a technical tool preventing fake traffic and fake subscription.
So it's clearly a crime with many victims, because many of the stakeholders in this process are actually the ones being defrauded, including the merchants and the content providers themselves, and obviously first and foremost the consumer in an instance where they've paid or subscribed to something that was unwanted. We tend to think about the protected consumer and a thriving market, when we talk as commercially minded people about a thriving market for DCB or for carrier billing or for our businesses, and a protected consumer, we tend to think of it as two sides of the spectrum, and it's absolutely not. It's not a zero-sum game, right? We can have protected consumers in a fraud-free environment, or we can only have a thriving business if we have that side. Léon, when we're talking about high opportunity markets, or markets that actually we, among ourselves within this industry, as merchants, as mobile network operators, are saying, our market is a good market for DCB, is a high opportunity market, right? What does fraud in a market like that look like, and how has it been addressed?
High opportunity
from a collaboration point of view.
Yeah, well, absolutely. A high market, a high potential market is actually a market that's very well regulated. And what is very well regulated? We heard it today. You can put as many regulations or self-regulations in place. Collaboration is also very important because, as you said before, it affects the whole industry. And if I may add something to what Laurent just said about fraud. You brought it like, okay, we end up with users, if we're not well protected, we end up with users subscribing to services. They actually didn't effectively subscribe themselves. They just get, for some reason, automatically subscribed. If that's the perception in the market, if that's the perception of the consumer about direct carrier billing, it means you open all the doors to friendly fraud, because you will have also customers calling the operator saying, hey, I was automatically subscribed. So we need, as an industry, we need to close the ranks and make sure that we have clear protection. And that's sharing information and collaboration for sure.
And so, but so give us the Dutch example, because I mean, as a member of the board of the Dutch regulator, which I will not pronounce in Dutch because it's very long and it, you know, creates a lot of, there's a lot of
the regulator.
The regulator. Tell us, give us the Dutch use case. Tell us what's happening there.
Well, the Dutch use case is very interesting because it is a foundation. It's financed by all the stakeholders in the market. So basically, if you want to run a service in the Dutch market and you want your consumers to be able to pay with carrier billing, you need to go to the foundation, which has a board where merchants are represented, operators are represented, and also gateways are represented. So all the stakeholders are in there. That board does the know your customer procedure. They do all the due diligence, and they say you can enter the market. If you enter the market, if you're allowed to enter the market, you also are paying to enter the market to finance the self-regulatory board. And I heard it before today, it's always better to self-regulate. And it was absolutely the idea in the Netherlands. I think, I don't even know by heart, but the foundation is around for like 18 or 19 years.
Yeah.
And the idea was like, okay, either we go do it together, or we ask the government to do it. But the government, certainly at that point, didn't have a clue what carrier billing was or what the risks were that can come with carrier billing. So that's how we work together in the Netherlands. Yeah.
And is that's a similar situation with AF2M in France?
Yeah. When the three main carriers in France launched direct carrier billing, they gathered in an organization called AF2M. Recently, maybe 5 years ago, they included in that organization the other stakeholders, so people like us. So we are present through our own organization that represent us, and we vote on this organization. And they since beginning introduce a code of conduct. And something very important is how it should work. For example, they said that there should be a consent page, and that consent page should be operated by the carrier. They said also, for example, that they don't provide the phone number to people like us, they provide an alias. So this has been a kind of the way the market should work. And when fraud started being more important, they put something in place where they ask us to prove, so to be able to connect to the carrier, to prove that we deal with fraud. And this is first, so we need to have someone in our organization being responsible of fighting fraud. And we need to have process, know your traffic, that kind of process. And finally, we need to have equipment, we need to have tools that will help us detect fraud and get rid of fraud.
That's a perfect red carpet you've rolled out for me to hand over to David. Thank you. So exactly, both of you put the emphasis on collaboration, and because of this collaborative effort among the various stakeholders in a market, these regulatory bodies came into existence. FYI, it's a similar situation in South Africa, actually. But of course, these frameworks need to be underpinned by the tech, the actual tech that can protect this payment ecosystem. Over to you, David. Tell us about the tech that's in place, the tech that exists. How is that being deployed by the various stakeholders in this ecosystem, and is it working? I just had a conversation outside in the foyer with a previous speaker, Marco, and we said, like, at some point, some of the topics, and excuse me, I'm not from a messaging background, but some of the topics seemed a bit heavy and seemed a bit glum, and it's clear you guys are dealing with quite a bunch of stuff. And we said, well, actually on the payment side, we have to some extent a good story also to tell, and we also are going to try and showcase a bit of the successes in the fight against mobile payments fraud.
Is it paying? Is it working? Anti-fraud today on mobile payment. It looks like it is. If we take a look at mobile payment in France in 2016, 2017, it was about to collapse because of fraud. And it was about to collapse because people were working on their own, trying to fight alone against the fraudsters. Each company is trying to fight alone against the fraudsters. And the problem in cybersecurity, which is something that today most of the CTO now know, is that in cybersecurity, defense is always more expensive than attack. So fraudsters can invest this, and in order to be protected, you need to invest that. And that's the reason why I started Evina in 2018. I managed to gather the investment of a lot of the industry players of this market, which was about to collapse, in order to build up a technology stack that was able to compete against each attackers. It relates a lot to what the CEO of iProve was saying a few minutes ago. How are they going to deal with the deepfakes, which is fascinating? Yeah. They are going to deal with it because on their specific vertical, they have assembled enough partnership to have enough data to fight any individual criminal groups, because criminal groups do not work together. That's one of the little chances that we have. So is it working? Yes, it's working. In France today, the revenue in carrier billing is about $300 million a year, with a year-on-year growth, I think, of 12%, if I'm not wrong. That's it. So it works, and that has been the first market that we have protected, and we've grown in a lot of places. And it's super fun. So if you want to work in cybersecurity, it's really fun. Over the past years, a lot of instruments have been made available by the tech community to tackle the fraud problem. Of course, AI, we can start by that, because when you do anti-fraud, what do? You search for anomaly. You search an anomaly in the transaction. Is there any anomaly in the transaction? And then you work, how do I mitigate false positive? How do I mitigate any mistake in saying a subscription is a fraud? So rise of neural networks, the fact that they are more and more available in the different cloud environment makes it very easy to use. One of the problems we have in carrier billing and mobile payment in general is the fact that you do have hacking fraud, fraudsters that will hack the device of the end user, will take control remotely of the device and will make purchase on the behalf of the customer automatically. And you have also scam. A very strong scam made of a lot of little steps can trick the end user, instead of hacking the software, hack the brain of the customer, and by social engineering, make someone purchase something without really understanding what he has done. For scam, AI is today incredible. If you prepare it the right way, using the right set of data, the image recognition quality today, the ability to extract information from an image is insane. And you can analyze thousands and thousands of pages per second. So AI, of course, has been a very strong brick. But why do AI has grown tremendously these last years? It's because before the growth of AI, you had another technological step, which was the big data. So it's a bit old now, 10 years ago. But without big data, we would never had AI. The ability to manage a big amount of data has made us available, has put to us the ability to organize AI. And 10 years ago, it was not obvious for everyone that you should keep all the logs that you have. And it was very expensive. The rise of the big data has made the ability to store a large amount of data easy. And then this large amount of data is a key to fight fraud. And now it's obvious for everyone that that sharing this data to their anti-fraud partners will secure them. From an operator point of view, one of the most important data are the complaints. For years, it was very difficult to have operators sharing to their partner the complaints data. Having this complaints data makes everything simpler. Evina pioneered in the mobile payment. It was existing before we do it on the credit card world, but Evina pioneered in the carrier billing system behavioral biometrics. We talked in the previous panel about biometrics. My face, my fingerprint, okay. What is behavioral biometrics? These are all the data of the device. How do the device react by itself? So here is a Galaxy Fold 3. A Galaxy Fold 3 has several libraries, several specifics that can be tracked. My Galaxy is also connecting to Orange, and with Orange I have a specific network layer that I can analyze, and I have several specifics to this network layer. And finally, when I have my device in my hand, my device is moving always a bit. When I click on it, it's moving even more. When I click on it, there is a surface on my click. This surface is moving across the time. You can see the pulp of my finger. You can track all of this. You can track the rotation. You can track all of this. And by having all this data available to us, we can try to build something very, very nice. On top of that, and then I finished, but
no, go for it.
What is also key is to be fast. If I take 5 minutes to say to Laurent, this subscription, I think it's okay, he has lost the conversion. So we need to be fast. In order to be fast, the technology and the IT world has brought to us computing at edge, for example, making it possible to operate in Brussels, a transaction in Brussels.
Yeah.
But I know I've taken too much time.
I asked you to explain the tech. If that's what it takes to explain the tech, then so be it. I'm just conscious of our audience's stomachs. It's lunchtime. But okay, let's finish on this last point. So look, obviously there are many mobile network operator representatives in the room as well. Yes, coming from perhaps the wholesale, data identity, whatever departments, but still you have your colleagues over in wholesale, over in DCB, over in payments or digital. Give us a takeaway, each of you, if you will, to get to these examples that we've highlighted where a framework has been created via a collaborative effort among the various stakeholders. That framework exists and is underpinned by a strong sort of tech to support it, leading to high opportunities from a commercial point of view, but a safe marketplace from a consumer point of view. How do we get there in markets where it does not exist? Like, in practice, what are the starting points? What does it start with? Does it start with a conversation over coffee, over lunch? Does it start by knocking on the government's door? Does it start by scaring people into waking up by presenting the data, the impact of fraud in a market where it's going well? How does it start, and how do we get there? What can our audience take away when they have these conversations with their colleagues? Laurent.
I think the key point is regulation. and then self-regulation, obviously, and then as the main stakeholder, as a carrier, it's carrier to talk to each other, to provide a framework when we can work peacefully.
Thank you, because that's actually something I omitted to say. And that's exactly where the value of organizations like the Mobile Ecosystem Forum comes in, is of course we provide that neutral platform where conversations among what would otherwise be competitors, or still is competitors, I suppose, can take place within a safe environment. Léon, what's your take?
Well, like I said in the beginning, if there's no regulation in the market, it's not an interesting market. But of course, it can effectively be an interesting market,
Well,
but not to enter
you.
without regulation.
Yeah.
And if we see there's trouble in the market or a lack of regulation, and there's no initiatives from government or any other body to deal with it, we are depending on industry bodies like MEF, GSMA, but also start talking to our competitors, or like colleagues basically, who are also trying to look for that opportunity. We are fine entering a market where other companies like Wister are also having business. That's fine. We make different products, by the way. We just don't want fraud. They also don't want fraud.
Yeah.
And all merchants that are trying to sell a decent product, they don't want fraud. So yeah, it's often just collaboration, trying to find the collaboration. And there were some markets in the past, and also some current initiatives where we are struggling with a lack of regulation, where we are trying to set up work groups with or without MEF, with or without GSMA.
Well, with, preferably. But.
Yeah, preferably, yeah. Yeah, well, that helps indeed. And try to open the market for us, because yeah, there's consumers. They are likely interested in our products, but of course we need an understanding in the market that we all need to collaborate to protect the business. And that's also for the mobile network operators. Yeah, it's your consumers we're billing, so it's also your reputation. So we need to talk to each other. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
On the other side of the coin, flip side of that coin, we have seen that the trust that consumers have in their mobile network operators' brand also leads to an increase in conversion rate at checkout when they use direct carrier billing, because they trust their MNO's brand when they see it. You know, just side note. Sorry, David, go for it. What's your take? Do you remember that?
It starts here.
Yeah. Yes.
Educational content first. Second, the growth that these guys are experiencing, the use case and the success cases that they are building step by step, market by market, operators by operators. And third, sometimes a market has to suffer. They have to experience fraud the hard way to understand that they have to deal with it correctly.
Clear. Thank you very much. I can see that we have time for one question. I heard you, Susan. It's cheeky, but it says 1 minute, 55 seconds. Please, someone.
I think the question is, can we go eat? I think we have some hungry stomachs. But thank you very much to everyone at the panel. Lunch is served downstairs, and we'll start back here at 2:30.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.